All right. Think we're live? I don't know. See, I always get confused because then there's a go live button and then there's not a go live button. But I think we're live. I just want to update everybody else that we're live. How's everybody doing today? I'm just going to be giving you my thoughts on the state of the MCU. But yeah, just give me a moment to set everything up. We have some thoughts today on just like everything that's going on because Fantastic Four is flopping, which really sucks. But I mean, the movie was solid. If you want to go see my full review, you can go check that out over on Geekos, or Geeko, sorry. But yeah, so you can go check that out. I'm just posting on each channel just to make sure everybody knows, even though, I mean, I'm starting out now. It's just a good thing to like have posted everywhere. So, yeah, I just wanted to make sure we had the audio and everything. But yeah, so Fantastic Four flopped, Thunderbolts flopped, Captain America: Brave New World flopped. So that all really sucks. But I mean, the movie was fine, so maybe we're good. But I mean, we'll have to see. It really depends, and I'll get into why I think it doesn't really matter that it flopped, in just a moment. But yeah. So my highlight, if you don't know, if you didn't watch my review, you go watch my review, because I mean I put some effort into it. But the reason I think the movie flopped is that like there was not enough action for a lot of people, which I totally understand. And I also just want to double check that we are even live. Okay, so we are live. All right, let me just open this up. I just want to make sure I have it open. All right. Yeah, let me just do that. All right. Okay. So, before it didn't automatically start, but now it automatically started. So, there we go. And I'll throw this over here because we don't really need this up too big, because I want to be able to see this. Just give me one moment. Just setting this up, because I was like, okay, well, it's not going to actually go live, and then it went live. So, yeah, and I know my friends are probably going to come in here because I said, I'll get on PlayStation a little bit. So I lied about that. But I probably will get on later. But, yeah, so let's go over my thoughts on the current state of the MCU. Again, I brought up that Fantastic Four flopping is really sad because it was a really good movie. I think it could have definitely been better. Definitely more action. That draws in a younger audience, and that's kind of what you need for these movies. You want a younger audience to be like, whoa, these characters are cool, that have never seen it before. And I think these characters don't hold a special place in a lot of people's hearts because of how bad the other movies were. I enjoy the first and second ones, in the 2005 and 2007 Fantastic Fours. I think the cast was really good. I think all the casts were pretty good. I did not watch the 2015 one, so don't hold me on that. But I feel like all the casts were pretty good. And yeah, so it just sucks that this movie doesn't do well. But if you have not seen the movie, don't watch this video, or just mute it for now or whatever. But genuinely, I think this movie will be fine if we go into Doomsday and we have Doctor Doom, and that's the conflict, because I think one of the main problems is that we didn't get to sit with the characters enough. Like, we didn't get to see the Thing enough. We didn't get to see him fight enough and be emotional with these characters enough to form that bond. Like, I feel like Galactus is like a character that you deal with after you already have a connection with these characters, because then you can deal with Galactus and like another threat, and they have to like counterbalance everything, and like it's like serious and whatever, and that's a really cool concept. But I don't think you get to see the characters thrive enough in this movie to fully love them. So yeah, that kind of sucked. But overall, it was pretty good. I think Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm was absolutely fantastic. Again, if you want to hear all my thoughts, go check out my review. It's over on Geeko, and my non-spoiler review and whatever. So, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It shouldn't be flopping. I don't think it was as good as Superman, but also Superman's kind of flopping compared to where it should be at. It should definitely make $1 billion. It's not making $1 billion. It's gonna go on to streaming late August or early or late September. One of those. Just sucks. It just really sucks. Because it was really good. It was a top 10 superhero movie of all time. And I don't count The Incredibles in that. I just count literally Marvel and DC. That's all I do. I don't think I love The Incredibles, even though the Fantastic Four is based on The Incredibles, and I do really like the Fantastic Four. I feel like I do have to watch the movie again to fully appreciate the characters and the movie and everything. Because everybody's like, oh my gosh, I love The Incredibles, and it didn't hit as hard for me as I guess it did for other people. I don't know. But yeah, so that's great. It just sucks that these movies are flopping because Jurassic World did the best out of the 3 in July, and it was a good movie, but it was clearly worse than Fantastic Four and Superman. I think it was kind of close to Fantastic Four, but I think Fantastic Four was definitely better. But Superman was miles beyond it, and it won't get the credit because I guess overseas people are not going to see this movie, which is really weird. But yeah, so that kind of sucks. And yeah, I was trying to look at whatever. So I think, yeah, I'm trying to look over all my notes. I think just overall, just again, not enough action. You got to see Ben Grimm just punch a couple people. I think if they had Mole Man and his little goons, running around in the intro sequence, and you got to see that would have been cool because he comes up later in the movie, and it kind of would have been poetic to see him grow, and you kind of see him form a trust with Susan Storm. And they did a whole comic with that, literally based on the movie and the events of the movie and the backstory of the movie. I just don't know why that wasn't incorporated in the movie. I don't really know. It was slightly mentioned, and then we skip past it, which sucks. But I mean, it's fine. But yeah, now we're going to be going on to the big 2 news, obviously, in the thumbnail. Spider-Man Brand New Day and Doomsday. And I know I just said it's flopping, and I know Captain America and Thunderbolts flopped. But when you have a name like Spider-Man and you have a name like Avengers, those movies are going to make $1 billion no matter what. Are they going to be good is the question. I think Spider-Man, keep getting mixed up. I think Spider-Man is going to do very well. I think Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be great because now we have a more comic accurate Spider-Man, which I think is absolutely incredible. I do really like the Home trilogy or whatever. Why can't I think of the director? John Watts? Something Watts. I know it's Watts. Watts trilogy. I really enjoyed. I didn't like Far From Home as much as I think other people do. I think a lot of people do also agree with me. They didn't really like Far From Home. I think Jake Gyllenhaal was fine as Mysterio. I think it was good, actually. But I didn't like that. I'm okay, I know that twist. I think that's a problem that happened with Fantastic Four. I felt like a few of the twists, I'm oh, okay, I expected that. Which kind of sucks. But a cool twist was him revealing his name at the end of Far From Home in the post-credit scene. That was a great twist because then it led in No Way Home, and No Way Home's my favorite MCU project. I don't care. It is, and I know it gets way too much hate. Anyways, after No Way Home, you can't not have a good spot. I don't think Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to make less than $1 billion, and the fact that people are going crazy over the set photos. Set photos are awesome. The suit's awesome. I'm so incredibly excited for this new era of the character. Him being depressed and lonely and whatever, him dealing with those struggles we'll get to in a minute, is very important for the character. But again, I think Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday will make $1 billion. Doomsday is the one I'm scared could be bad, just because how many characters there are and how many characters we don't have a bond with yet. But an excellent point was made by the Escape podcast, Andrew and Hat Guy. I think his name is Alex, I believe. But Hat Guy and Andrew are incredible. But they brought up their friend said something, and I'll talk about that when we get to the Doomsday section of it of this live stream. But Spider-Man: Brand New Day, it's got to be incredible. You got a confirmed Hulk, Punisher, Scorpion all in the movie, and the fact that you have those characters and you're dealing with Peter's depression and you're just seeing a very comic accurate Spider-Man is great. You're seeing those set photos with him swinging and something I didn't write in my notes that I was gonna write in my notes. The director that directed Shang-Chi, Dustin Daniel Cretton. I don't know I forget what his name is, but it's something along those lines. He was incredible with the fight choreography in Shang-Chi and the scenes and everything. That story is one of my favorites in the MCU. I feel like that and Black Panther are like some of the greatest origin stories in the MCU. For characters that like I don't think have as much recognition usually when obviously the Avengers didn't have recognition. Like obviously Iron Man is probably one of, if not the best origin story in the MCU. That character obviously was not a tier, A-list character in the comics and everything. But like once we had him and whatever going through just the movies and like then we were like, oh, Black Panther, oh, this character's kind of cool. Oh, Shang-Chi, oh, this character's kind of cool. Like that, him bringing that character to life was awesome. Simu Liu is absolutely fantastic. I love him, and I think that's a main problem of Phase 4 and Phase 5 is that we didn't have that interconnectivity. We haven't seen Shang-Chi since his movie in 2021. Like, that's crazy. Like, that character's so good, and you're going to wait 4 years to bring him back. Like, this is where you needed to be like, okay, we're going to make movies 1 year, and we're going to have, like, a bunch of origin stories, then we're going to have a team-up movie. They did not have a team-up movie. We've had to wait this long to a team-up movie, and it's now feeling more like an Infinity War than an Avengers 1. It should feel like an Avengers 1, which is the point that Hawkeye and Andrew mentioned, that this should, this meetup in Doomsday should feel like, okay, we don't know all these characters super, super well, so now we're going to see them interact for the first time. And, like, you should look at it as an Avengers 1, these teams that, like, should not work together now have to work together, and it'll be, like, a beautiful thing. Like, hopefully, that's how it goes. And I have a point about Doomsday and Secret Wars later on. But, again, Spider-Man Brand New Day should be incredible. The fact that they're picking Hulk to be in this movie, I think and seeing how, like, there's set photos of Tom Holland going to, or Peter going to Aunt May's grave, and being in a hotel, or not a hotel, an apartment building that like seems run down, and he's by himself, and everybody forgets him. This feels like a very depressing storyline, and I think after so many people complained about in the show She-Hulk, her disregarding and not caring about Bruce's feelings, and after, like, she said, like, I've had to deal with anger, like, my whole life. I've had to deal with it worse than you, and, like, I handle it better than you, and whatever. The guy tried to kill himself, and that has seemed like it just has been pushed down and forgotten, because, I mean, that's a lot happens with men's mental health, and I think that's really important that this movie hopefully is going to deal with that. And then I think also with that, you bring back Savage Hulk. You have some villain that can reverse the Smart Hulk thing. I don't like that at all. And you bring back Savage Hulk and Bruce Banner so that you have that dynamic, because that dynamic of that character is so important to the character, because you get to see that anger come out. And I think being angry is something that, like, a lot of guys, like, deal with. Like, I think anger is a more common emotion that guys push out than girls. Like, girls, obviously, I think, cry a lot more than guys do and doesn't show as much emotion and all that. Like, that, like, dynamic, that's something that Hulk deals with, and it's showing how he deals with it. And I think that way of dealing with things and how Punisher deals with things in a very unhealthy way, his family was, like, taken from him and killed right in front of him, and he, like, is on this, like, revenge tour, he kills, and he's an anti-hero because he does it for the right reasons. He's a good guy deep down, but he doesn't care about anybody else if they if they threaten him at all or whatever. Like, he is on them, and there's no like filter to his emotions. It's just straight up anger, and then it's straight up being nice, and like there's not like that common ground on like how to handle things. And you're gonna see Peter, I think, in that kind of same boat as Punisher, and you're gonna have to see Hulk and / Bruce Banner be the one to kind of like be like, okay, well, you gotta like don't suppress those emotions. You have to deal with them in like a healthy way. And I think that'll be a really cool storyline for this movie, because that's from what the casting is, what these characters are going to be in this movie. That like Tom has never interacted with Hulk. He's obviously never interacted with Punisher. So like this seems like how he's going to deal with it. Like that makes sense. And I think a really cool character you could have that you've seen in the Netflix shows deal with a kind of struggle like this is Daredevil. And he's already interacted with Daredevil, and I can't see why they wouldn't bring him back. Because there was this whole thing with Kingpin being like, or Vincent D'Onofrio being like, I can't be in the movies. I also think that's bull. I think he can. I think either he didn't know what he was talking about, or he's kind of being hush-hush because he knows that he's going to be in Spider-Man. I don't know. That was a while ago, though. I think that was during No Way Home time. I don't know, or maybe earlier. I don't remember, or before, or later, or whatever. I don't remember. But I think that is a storyline they want to go with, and I see them going with a very street level storyline, and having Daredevil and Punisher and Hulk in that just makes sense for the character. And again, I think they want to go back to Savage Hulk because I just think it makes sense. But what else do I got? Yeah, I said this before. Peter being depressed and struggling is a really beautiful thing because of what it means to the story and how guys handle their mental health, because it's not a healthy thing. It's not taken seriously by a lot of people, which is really sad. And like to have a story like that for an audience that I feel like has been very tuned out of the MCU, because there's been a lot of storylines with like a very like I don't know how to explain it. There's been a bunch of storylines about, okay, so let's have a few women leads, let's have a few whatever. So I feel like certain guys like are like, oh well, I don't really care about that, which I think is really ridiculous and not a good mentality to have, because the storylines are still good. But to reel an audience back into this to go see movies like that because they care about the franchise, that's important. So like again, like my point is that like you're gonna get these guys to come back to see Marvel for certain characters like Spider-Man, and then though they are not gonna be tuned out of Marvel, so they're gonna go see a movie or show that they probably wouldn't have watched regardless about a woman or somebody, some minority that like is dealing with a certain struggle that way, and then those guys will be able to watch that and kind of hopefully take that in. But yeah, so there's a lot of news about that, and yeah, but again, like I don't know how to phrase it in a way that like makes sense or whatever. But like there's an audience there that you should be having and you don't. And I think it's primarily a lot of guys that thinks the MCU's woke, and it's not woke. It's like having everybody in there, but they don't. That all they see is like, oh well, the She-Hulk show was bad. Oh, Miss Marvel was bad, but like it was bad for certain reasons, and they just like push it off to like, oh whatever, women. It's stupid. But let's talk about the villains. So the villains in this movie, I've heard everything. But I'm gonna go through all the villains that I've heard about, and we're gonna be talking about what my kind of thoughts on them. First, Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. Please, I almost passed out when I thought they were gonna do this. It is absolutely incredible, and yeah, I would love them to do this. I saw like a rumor that he would be in the movie, and I just got so excited. this character is so good, and for a street level hero, Spider-Man especially, to deal with this character, that would be so much fun. It would be so much fun. Seeing Daredevil Born Again Season 1 was incredible, and seeing that character come back and him mess a lot of stuff up and being really brutal. Oh my gosh, that finale was crazy. That was awesome. But yes, like, please bring this character in. Even if Sony's like, okay, he can't be in the show, or he can't be in the movie a lot. Have him as a looming threat. Like, even if you, like, mention him or see him for a couple scenes or whatever, just have him as a looming threat and then deal with another villain as a central villain. But, like, that villain works for Kingpin or works alongside Kingpin. That would be a lot of fun, and I think would establish a really interconnected New York. And this, like, villain syndicate would be really sick to see, like, a character like Mr. Negative work with Kingpin and Val and whatever, and you just, like, grab a bunch of different characters, Sharon Carter, Tim Blake Nelson, the leader, like, seeing all that connect would be really cool. And again, would really ground the story. But yeah, Mr. Negative, please. That is, like, the one villain I'm like, okay, I need Mr. Negative in this. And there was rumors that he was going to be the main villain, and then he wasn't going to be the main villain, but his the icon for, like, I forget what his, like, goons are called or whatever, with the shade, I don't know, potion or whatever, I don't know what it was, but used in the Insomniac Spider-Man games. Mr. Negative is sick. And yeah, like it would be really cool to see him alongside a bunch of smaller villains. Like, he's, like, the one that works everything, and then he works alongside Kingpin, and then, here's he's gonna supply weapons, and then we're gonna see Scorpion, and Scorpion's gonna have his comic accurate suit. I think that would be awesome. Again, characters like Scorpion, and I hope Rhino. I've heard some rumors about a Rhino, like, kind of head mold being seen on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I think that would be really cool. But again, I don't feel like I know enough about Scorpion and Rhino to, like, fully be excited for their characters, but, like, they just seem like really fun interactions for Spider-Man, and Spider-Man being really quippy and, like, having, like, a character like Scorpion, like it's just a freaking animal, and then Rhino is just an animal, and, like, him, like, playing off of that, it's just fun. And, like, in all the ways that I've seen Rhino and Scorpion, it's just been fun. So, yeah, but I think those would be really cool. But then I've heard characters like Tombstone, and I think Tombstone would be a really, really great addition to this character. After seeing Tombstone in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1, if you have not seen that show, and you're like, okay, that looks a little kiddie, I don't really want to watch it, it's not. I think you have to at least give that animation style a chance, because at first I was like, I don't want to watch it, but then I watched it and I'm like, this is actually really good. It's like either it's definitely B tier or above. I forget where I have it, but that was really good. But having Tombstone in that show was really cool. Sorry, don't want to not sponsored over here, so but yeah, so having Tombstone in that show was really cool, and seeing that character's backstory kind of form. You don't really get to see him be a villain in the show, so you have him being kind of like, he's, like, this really nice guy, but he's, like, protecting his brother. Like, seeing that backstory develop would be really cool. Or you can just see him full-blown villain, which would also be really sick, and you can kind of infer, like, here's his backstory, whatever. That would be cool. But also, that kind of idea of having a main villain and then seeing one loom in the background and, like, slowly be a good guy or just, like, a nice guy and then form into a villain, those storylines are really fun. Definitely if we see Harry or / Norman Osborn be like, they're good. And, like, Tom Spider-Man is like, oh my god, well, I've heard of a Norman Osborn, like, he was the Green Goblin. Oh, but he's good in this one. But eventually, in, like, the third movie, you could have Green Goblin as the main villain, and, like, he, like, is looming as like, his business is doing well. He just bought this building. And he gives Peter all this gear in the second movie, and then the third movie, he's like, everything gets taken away from him, and then he becomes the Green Goblin. That would be sick. But again, yeah, like I want to see these characters like Gwen Stacy. We already have an MJ, so don't say MJ. That's stupid. Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn in these stories. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of rumors that Sadie Sink might play Gwen Stacy or one of the other side characters for Spider-Man, either a love interest or just a regular side character. But I think Sadie Sink, you want to have a character that's going to be in the movies a lot and like an important character and like not just some random character. I think that would be really stupid. But yeah, so obviously you want to bring in Gwen Stacy, you want to bring Harry Osborn. I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, going back to the villains, I've heard a lot of rumors, and I have to read these because I've heard of this first one. I've heard of Silver Samurai. There's rumors about Silver Samurai instead of Mr. Negative. And then these next four I've never heard of. Tarantula, Viper, Boomerang, and Ramrod. Okay, if they're in a montage, cool. I don't think I want any of these characters to be like a big villain. Like they don't feel like, oh yeah, like this is gonna be sick. Like I'm really excited about these characters. So like, okay, whatever. Like if I see him like fighting Shocker from like the Homecoming movie or whatever, and he gets his like comic accurate suit and he's like whatever, like that would be cool. But like yeah, put that in a montage in the beginning. I think that would be really sick, and like you'll kind of get like the Into the Spider-Verse / Across the Spider-Verse kind of like intro. It's like, all right, let's do this one more time. I'm Spider-Man, and I was bitten by a radioactive spider, and you have him like fighting villains. Last year I lost, or 4 years ago, I lost my Aunt May. She told me that with great power comes great responsibility, and like that would be awesome. But yeah, so I really hope we get that kind of montage with him fighting villains. I would love to see the Void, his kind of like shame room, be in this movie. Just see like certain things like, oh, he was there in Thunderbolts. He was there during Daredevil Born Again season 1, and like that would be sick, especially because the Punisher is gonna be in this movie, so it would like make sense that he would be there to help Daredevil, but even though he can't be in the show, he can be around. You hopefully, maybe in the show, you can see some webs in season 2. I don't know. That would be sick. But yeah. Again, I wouldn't mind Hulk back. That dynamic of the characters are, I think, really important for the mental health of it and the anger of it. But yeah, and then also, if you have that going into Doomsday / Secret Wars, you might have a World War Hulk storyline brewing that could be in Secret Wars, in Doomsday, or in a World War Hulk movie, because Mark Ruffalo deserves just one movie. Just give him one movie. Would be sick, but I don't know if they would do that. And then to end this Spider-Man Brand New Day section, we have a smart character that nobody knows who he is. He's lonely, he's depressed, he's struggling. A very smart character with not the right resources that could be given the right resources and be better. Who do you think would be like, I'm going to take advantage of that? Spoilers for certain shows and movies that have come out recently for the MCU. If you have not seen them, click away or mute me or whatever. 3, 2, 1. Mephisto. Mephisto is a perfect way to incorporate a crazy cool character like Mephisto that would come out of absolutely nowhere, and rumors that a villain that hasn't been mentioned yet is going to be the main villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day. And in the comics, Brand New Day follows a storyline where Peter makes a deal with Mephisto, and everybody forgets him, and it's like, okay, so Mephisto is going to be in this. Maybe not, because maybe you want to ground it a little bit, but also you can have a grounded story with Mephisto. We saw that in Ironheart. The show was grounded, but you deal with a little magic element, and I thought that was really cool in that show. And maybe some of those elements come into Spider-Man Brand New Day. I doubt it, but maybe. They were in Chicago, so maybe not. But that would be really cool. and to see him make a deal with Mephisto would be really cool, or maybe not make a deal with Mephisto. That'd be really sick, and maybe somehow I can't remember her name, Parker Robbins, and the girl that helped Riri Williams with her magic or whatever, see her interact with Spider-Man in the post-credit scene, and it shows the Young Avengers, and it has Peter kind of like helping the Young Avengers because Riri Williams made a deal with Mephisto, and all the Young Avengers / champions or whatever all together, and they make a deal, and it's a whole thing, and then he helps them out, and then that they'll all get dragged into Doomsday, and it'll be a whole thing. That would be really cool. I don't know if they'll do that though. But yeah, so that's all I have for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Then we move on to the big movie, Avengers Doomsday. Again, I said it could flop, but it really depends how they handle this. Again, going to this movie, don't look at it like we've seen these characters for all these years and we formed a bond with these characters. You have not formed a bond with these characters yet. Look at it like it's Avengers 1. I get we're at a point where it's like, okay, don't look at Avengers 1. Like, Phase 3 was so amazing. Like, I think that's why people, like, had such a tough time with Phase 4 and Phase 5. They were looking at it like Phase 3. And it's like, oh, well, they just made all these great movies. They're going to make more great movies. No, they're going to struggle a little bit. And I don't think they struggled as much as people said. I think one of their main problems was just quantity over quality, which was stupid. I think it was a whole thing with Disney Plus. Incredibly stupid. There was still some good projects that came out of it, but then the CGI looked worse, and it just wasn't great. Avengers Doomsday. Number one thing, because out of Disney Plus, the greatest thing was Loki. Loki Season 1, Loki Season 2 is great. Loki is now probably, I don't know, he's up there. He's either my first or second favorite MCU character. He's absolutely incredible. And you finally get this great version of the character, and it's like, okay, well, then he's gonna die. Don't make him die. If you're gonna kill him in, like, Secret Wars, maybe that's fine. But the character's so cool, just leave him be. Even if Tom Hiddleston doesn't want to show up every 2 seconds in all these movies and, like, in years down the line, like, I get that, but just, like, have him sit on his throne and hold the timelines together. And, like, later on, if you want to kill him and have some villain or whatever take him over, that's fine. But for now, the character's great. Let him just hold the freaking things together and call on the Avengers and the timeline he knows the best to be like, okay, I need you guys to save me. Like, this is the sacred timeline that Kang wanted or whatever. I don't agree with Kang, but I need this team to do what's right. And I think he's going to be like, okay, so Kang liked the sacred timeline so much, maybe there's a reason why he chose this to be the sacred timeline and nothing else. And maybe it's just because he ended on top, or maybe not, or whatever. I think he's going to be like, okay, so let me use these characters. And later on, I'll make the right decisions down the line that he did not make the right decisions. But we're still going to rely on these characters, and he's going to be like, okay, you guys got to deal with Doom. And Doom doesn't have to walk up into the TVA, walk up to his freaking palace and his throne or whatever and kill Loki and take all his power. You don't have to do that, especially because in post-credit scene for Fantastic Four, if you have not seen Fantastic Four, go check it out. He literally is going to get Franklin Richards, which is like one of, if not the most powerful character in the MCU, in Marvel Comics. So, yeah. He doesn't need to go kill Loki to get all this power. He does not. There might be a fight, but I think more like he is just going to defeat Loki. He doesn't need to kill him. That's all I'm saying. I really love this version of the character, and I think there could be a lot of great scenes with him and Thor and the rest of the Avengers and all that without just having to kill him. I think it would be a stupid storyline, and like, if you want to power scale Doctor Doom, go have him kill a Thanos from another universe. Have him kill Kang or whatever. Like, that'd be sick, but whatever. Again, and a lot of people have a problem with RDJ being Doctor Doom. I do not have a problem with it. I do have a problem with the fact that they have to pay him so much. And because of the past few movies flopping and not doing well, I think it would be incredibly stupid to have RDJ be the future Doom. Have him be the Doom for Doomsday in Secret Wars. I think that would be really cool and have him be really powerful so that now this version of Doom is from another universe, not in the Fantastic Four universe, so that in the future you can have RDJ's Doom die in Secret Wars, but then you still have a Doctor Doom in the 828 universe that the Fantastic Four are going to have to deal with, and they're going to have to deal with him, and he's going to be a whole different character, and he's going to have different motives, and he's going to have different approaches to how he's going to defeat the Fantastic Four, and, like, that'd be sick. And then you can cast an actor that is more aligned with his ethnicity and his like origins. Like RDJ, we see as Iron Man, he's this American, and he's jerky, and he's whatever. So it's going to be hard for people to see past that and get to see him as Doctor Doom. I think he'll be able to do it because I think he's a really talented actor, and I think he could act like across from Pedro Pascal, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Spider-Man. I think he can do all that and be a great Doctor Doom. And I think he was already forming up to be a villain as Tony Stark, but like Tony Stark is like one line he won't cross away from being a villain and being a really good villain, because he's a really great hero, because he could have been a really great villain, but he chooses not to. I think that is the difference between a Tony Stark and a full-blown villain like Doctor Doom. But I think RDJ can kick into that overdrive and be like, okay, well, instead of being like, oh no, it's fine, I'm going to be good, I'm not going to be good. I don't really care enough. I want to do what I think is best, which is the character of Doctor Doom. He's not this character that's like full-blown evil at first, and like everybody's like, okay, Doom's a villain. He is a villain for specific reasons. If you read the comics or whatever, you know all that. But for a casual audience, he is a villain to a degree where it's like he'll do whatever it takes to do what he thinks is right, and he wants control because he'll do it the right way and whatever. Like, that sounds like a lot of what Tony Stark wanted to do, put a suit of armor around the world, and that kind of slogan, say, different mask, same task, or same task, different mask, whatever it was. But, sorry, I had a moment there. But yeah, again, my point was that I want two Dooms. Doom for Doomsday and Secret Wars, great. And then have a Doom for the future, different actor, whatever. Also great. I also want these universes to all connect together. And seeing the Fantastic Four and X-Men all join in the same universe would be really cool. But I don't know how we'll do that. But like, the world of the Fantastic Four, I think, is one of the best parts of that movie. And seeing the MCU get integrated into that world would be really cool. And then you can have like an X-Mansion down the street. Like, that would be great. And seeing Spider-Man interacting with all these characters. Again, his relationship with Johnny Storm would be really cool. But yeah, I really hope they can pull this off. But yeah, again, another complaint for a lot of people. It's like, oh, this is going to be a lot of characters, because there was like the 27 that got announced in the first wave of Doomsday announcements that happened a couple months ago, and now there's going to be another one August 27th, I've heard, is the rumor, because that would be sick, because of course you're going to have to put Spider-Man in this movie after all the like set leaks of Spider-Man Brand New Day, and the fact that Thunderbolts and Captain America 4 and Fantastic Four all flopped. You again need a character like Spider-Man in Doomsday for people to go see it, because I don't think people trust the Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts enough, and those are like two of the big teams that are going to be in the movie, and an Avengers team that we haven't seen yet, and maybe a young Avengers team that we haven't seen yet. Like, you're going to need those characters like Spider-Man to be like, come see the movie, and I think that he'll do that. But before I was like, okay, maybe you can have Spider-Man Brand New Day be a storyline set away from Doomsday, and all the characters, all the Avengers or whatever, get dragged into Doomsday, and then in Secret Wars, then Spider-Man and the Young Avengers and or I don't think the Eternals are going to show up, honestly. But the Guardians and all that are going to get pulled into Secret Wars. But I think now you're going to have to put characters like Spider-Man and maybe the Guardians in Doomsday. We'll have to see. I don't know if the Guardians are going to show up. Maybe they will. Maybe just Star-Lord will show up. I don't really know. I think Rocket was really developed in Guardians 3, and I would love to see him and Groot and Kraglin and all them. I don't know if Kraglin will show up because he's doing DC stuff or whatever. Sean Gunn, but yeah, I think also I brought up the Young Avengers. I would love to see a Young Avengers project, either a special presentation or show. I think a lot of people would watch a special presentation over a show, and have them just like form in the show and deal with one threat. I think that would be perfect, and then you can be like, okay, and now we're going to put them in Doomsday, and you're going to still have to learn, the movie audience is going to learn these characters, and you have fun with that, and then, yeah. So I think that would be really cool to have those characters form, because I like a lot of these characters, but you can't expect all these people to watch all these different shows, and then now it's going to be like, oh, well, who's that? You're going to have to make a project about just them, and then you're going to have to introduce them in Doomsday, and I think the fact that all these characters don't know each other yet is going to be great for the audience to be like, okay, well, they don't know who they are, so they're going to have to figure out who they are, so it will have a great impact on me to learn who they are as well. Like, it's going to be like they're like in their point of view. It's like, oh, well, who are you? And the audience is going to be like, oh, who are you? Even though some people watched all the shows and watched all the special presentations and watched all the animation and all the movies, know all these characters and like appreciate them already. But some people, again, even me watching all that needs a little bit more to kind of establish the characters together. So I think would be perfect if they make a special presentation or a show just about them. But I don't know if they're going to do that because they said the shows aren't going to be as connected to the movies, so we'll have to see. But I think if you could have this movie be great, and I trust the Russo brothers with everything I have, and I don't care, well, they made the Electric State. They made Avengers, Infinity War, and Doomsday. They can do this with great characters. I don't know if they just can't do it with other characters that aren't developed already, or what. Like, I don't know. And maybe they'll be fine, or maybe they won't be fine. But I trust them right now to handle all these characters and putting them together and have them interact, because there's so many great interactions in Infinity War that have really like built our connections for these characters. Because some people, again, didn't watch all of the stuff from Phase 1, 2, and 3 or whatever, but watched Infinity War and Endgame, and people were like, oh, these are great regardless. So I trust the Russo brothers to put the Fantastic Four in here, make a great connection between them and Doom, make a great connection between them and the X-Men. I think that'll be really cool. Make a great connection with them and Thunderbolts. I think it'll be really funny. Again, I think Thunderbolts are just a straight level. I think Thunderbolts is just a straight level Guardians, which is really great, and I love the Thunderbolts. But seeing them in Doomsday, you're gonna get an audience who may have not watched Thunderbolts. You're gonna kind of get a feel for these characters, and then have those characters interact with the Fantastic Four. And seeing them interact, I think people like start to bond with these characters and be like, oh, I really like Johnny Storm. Oh, I really like Ben Grimm. He interacted with John Walker, and like, oh, that's the character from that show. And like, oh, maybe I should go watch that movie. We're like, that would be really cool. So yeah, you got to have these characters established, and then you can have the Avengers interact with the Young Avengers. Oh, you're the Young Avengers? Oh, you're the champions? Oh, that's a weird name. Oh, Cassie, what are you doing? And it's Ant-Man. And he's like, oh, well, I found these friends, and I'm hanging out with Miss Marvel. I'm hanging out with Kamala Khan. I'm hanging out with Kate Bishop. I'm hanging out with young Loki. I don't think he's going to be in the show, in the movies either. But my point is, it'll be fun to see all these characters interact in this movie, and I think that's what will make it really great. You'll have those moments like from Avengers 1 where you have Tony Stark going, does mother knoweth you weareth her drapes? Like that line was great, but it was goofy, and you're going to see those fun aspects of these characters learning who they are and learning to work together to defeat this crazy threat. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm just going to give you a lot more thoughts past Doomsday, / before Doomsday, because, again, I loved Kevin Feige saying we're going to get a lot more quality rather than quantity, because I think after the numbers aren't doing as good, Disney's like, whoa, the numbers were doing good before, and Kevin's like, yeah, I told you this was going to happen. Yes, I want to make all these things, but it's not a good idea to, like, do this and this and this. I just kind of got, like, green light, like frenzy, like I'm like, oh yeah, I love this character, I want to see this character, I want to see this character, because of course you do, but just having all these characters being like origin stories on Disney Plus is not a good idea, because you have characters like the Young Avengers. A bunch of the Young Avengers are introduced in shows, and people are like, who is this? And like, oh, where did they come from? And like that would be weird. Like, and having them explain it in a movie, that's all you kind of really need. You don't need to hear their whole backstory until you care about those characters. Then you can go make a show. But whatever. But yeah, Young Avengers. The characters from Moon Knight are really cool. Characters from Werewolf by Night are really cool. Seeing all of them on screen would be sick. I love Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight's one of my favorite characters in the MCU, but he was shown in a show, and half the people didn't watch it, and hopefully he gets put to screen, but you wasting Oscar Isaac on Moon Knight for him just to have the one show and not be put into the rest of the movies and everything would be a crime. He is such a good actor. That show is so emotional and so crazy and so cool, and you're not going to put him in the movies? I don't know what's taking so long for them to realize if the characters are good, put them to film. Like, put them on the big screen. It's taking too long. That's the main problem. But yeah, again, I love Moon Knight. You have to dive into Supernatural. And it's a thing that I talked about before about certain guys not going to see Marvel because they think it's woke and they think it's crap and they think it's whatever. The problem is that some guys and some of this audience doesn't care about the deep message. I think the deep message is really cool, but I think they're throwing the deep message in your face sometimes, and we're not going to see a movie. We're going to see a superhero movie. They're superheroes, and I think that's part of the reason that I didn't love Fantastic Four and I just liked Fantastic Four is because there was a lot of emotional messaging in this, and it's like, and Sue Storm's a mother, and like it's such an emotional thing, and I really appreciated it. But also, I was like, I want to see Ben Grimm punch a guy. Like, we didn't really get to see him punch anybody. It's just like, come on. I want to see the Thing fight the Hulk. I want to see Savage Hulk fight the Thing. Like, some of these guys just want to see some action. Just want to see some fight scenes of characters that are, like, really cool. And it's really that simple. And I think that's another problem with Blade. The fact that Blade didn't come out is another reason why people were like, well, whatever. Like, Blade was going to have Mia Goth as the villain. And seeing her as a villain and being like, oh, well, guys don't like female characters and whatever. No, like, Hela was great in Thor, and she was a main aspect of that, and I think people really liked that character. So you were going to have Blade, a very simple story where he's a vampire hunter. He's going to go hunt vampires and wear leather jackets and just kill vampires. It's a very simple story, and it's taken so long and so many rewrites and workarounds for this character to come to screen. It's honestly ridiculous. And my other issue is, and apparently it's still happening. Apparently Blade is still happening, which would be sick. But yeah, like, don't complicate it. You don't need this deep message. You don't need just make the character cool. Mahershala Ali is sick. I really liked him in Jurassic World Rebirth. I think he was really cool in that movie. I think that's one of the reasons why that movie did so well is because they just got some cool characters, some cool actors to be cool and then have cool dinosaurs in it. You know, that made money. So when you try to complicate things too much, that's your main problem. Just execute and just take your time with the CGI, and then when you're releasing the movies, and make them great. And I think that's what they'll do with Spider-Man, and you just need a great story for Doomsday. The Avengers movies is where you kind of need those insane characters that are cool and mess with the Avengers and the Young Avengers and the Fantastic Four and X-Men, and is really smart, and the message is really emotional, but also just have certain moments where the characters just get to be cool because it's an action movie. It's a glorified, really insane action movie with things that aren't real that you can make feel real, which is really cool. Seeing Loki walk across this imaginary barrier and forming the steps below his feet while the clothes get ripped off him, and he's got these. He looks like that guy. I don't know. I'm not pointing right, but he looks. Look, it's God Loki. He is sick. He's got a gold throne, and he looks awesome. And he's got these really weird, fun-looking sandals, and he's just cool. And I'm sorry, and I know I'm 20 years old. He's aura farming. He's sick. It's really that simple, and that's all I needed from Loki. I think there was a lot of emotional moments that I loved in Loki that boosted it up. But a lot of just the time travel stuff and the aspects of how the characters interact and the magic, that was all cool, and you need that. But also you need the emotional moments. You just got to find a nice balance, because I think there just wasn't enough action in a lot of these movies. And I think a lot of the people that watched Thor: Love and Thunder were not able to enjoy Olympus because there was too many jokes made. There wasn't, you didn't let Thor be cool. Let him be cool. He's a really cool Norse character. Let him be cool. And I think in my opinion, I think Ragnarok does a good job of that kind of flip between Hela and Thor, and letting him be cool and letting him make a joke. I think Thor can still make jokes and the character be cool, but my point is that the reason I brought up Love and Thunder is that there was a scene where you have Gore the God Butcher, which was Christian Bale does a great job with the character, such wasted potential because you barely get to see him kill gods. Go watch him kill gods. Watch his mentality. His daughter was taken away from him, and he finally brings her back at the end of the movie. And I think I really enjoyed the movie at first because that character was so much fun. I was able to ignore all the quippy jokes because I'm oh, it's Marvel, whatever. They're gonna make quippy jokes that are maybe not great, but the emotional moment's really good. I really cared about Gore. I just wish we got to see him kill more gods and be cooler. I think a lot of people are I'm going to see a superhero movie. Let them be cool. Let them do things that, I cannot physically imagine. I need you to build the world and put all this work into the CGI and make it look really cool, because that one Shadow Realm or thing, they go to the Shadow Realm, and it's black and white, but then you get to see the blue lightning on Stormbreaker, and then you get to see him clashing, and then the Thunderbolt coming in, or Lightning Bolt coming in, and that's yellow and gold, and all the colors are interacting. That was sick. But you don't get enough of those moments in the film to fully appreciate it. But again, these movies are flopping. And I'm probably ending the stream soon. These movies are flopping for one reason and one reason only. You're not letting these characters be cool. And in the projects and movies that you need to do well, you're not putting enough effort into the CGI or the story for it to be great. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I don't know if it was Sam Raimi's fault. I guess it wasn't. I guess it was the writers. The writer was on Loki, and he's going on Doomsday, so that might be a good thing or a bad thing, or I don't know how to feel anymore. Michael Waldron, I believe. So I don't know if it's a Sam Raimi thing of I don't fully understand WandaVision, and I didn't care about this, and I don't care about the future. I'm just gonna make a really cool story with some cool shots and whatever, and Elizabeth Olsen is gonna be really cool in the movie, and yeah. But my point, again, I'm getting a little lost here. My point is, you gotta hit on your big characters. Spider-Man, if Spider-Man Brand New Day is bad, that is bad for Doomsday, that is bad for Secret Wars, that is bad for the entire MCU. You cannot mess that movie up, and I don't think they will. I think they kind of have Spider-Man down. You gotta hit on Doctor Strange, especially. I need them to make a Doctor Strange story. And the Midnight Suns, I'll keep saying Midnight Suns. If it's not a Midnight Suns story, fine or whatever. Bring back Wanda in that. Then you have all the Wanda fans come back and be like, oh my gosh, Wanda's back. Bring in supernatural aspects into Doctor Strange 3 and put that between Doomsday and Secret Wars, and you get to see what Doctor Strange was doing and have him not be in Doomsday so that he can have his movie between Doomsday and Secret Wars, and then he can be in Secret Wars, and have him have a really cool story and explanation of why he wasn't in Doomsday. And it's like, well, he was handling Mephisto and Dormammu, and the Midnight Suns are coming in, and Wanda's coming back, and what you can make a really good story there, and you can bring a lot of people back with that story, and have him hop into other universes, and we get to see him interact with the Fantastic Four or the X-Men, and you get to see him deal with the incursions. Oh, Monica Rambeau's stuck in the OG X-Men universe, and I'm going to go help the OG X-Men. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, Doom? What? Like, you can, there's a lot of storylines you can handle with Doctor Strange, and I think you could do it really easily. And it would be great. But yeah, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, get a new Black Panther. There's rumors about a Black Panther 3. I think that won't happen until after Secret Wars. I would love for them to push Secret Wars and have a few more movies building up to Secret Wars. Have Doomsday. Have a few characters have like origin story. Like, go back. You can go back. They did that with Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel, and have them deal with their problems there. Have it be a previous thing. Have a new Black Panther come in. Maybe that T'Challa's son, which is who I want to be the new Black Panther, have T'Challa's son grow up and have Denzel Washington be a former Black Panther, the first Black Panther or something, and he has to learn to be the new Black Panther and take on the legacy of his father, and have Denzel Washington be, he was a very important part for Chadwick Boseman being the Black Panther and dealing with that character. And the fact that Denzel Washington is going to be in Black Panther 3, dealing with Chadwick's legacy, bringing in a new Black Panther, having it be his son would be really nice and really cool. And you can age up the character, and honestly, I don't think people would really care if he's a little older or he's a little, the actor's a little older than the actual character. We've done this before, and people complain about it, but I don't think they genuinely care that much. But we'll see. But yeah, Black Panther 3, I would love them to put a Black Panther 3 in like one more movie before Secret Wars, but I don't think they'll do that. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. Regardless, you have to put a new Black Panther in soon, because that character makes you money. Again, this is a business. Doctor Strange needs to get you money. Spider-Man has to get you money. Black Panther has to get you money. Make Thor cool again. Make you money. Bring back Wanda, obviously. I said it, you can do in a Doctor Strange story. She doesn't have to have her own movie yet. I think it would be really cool to have her own movie. Because, again, that would make you a lot of money. And have that be after Secret Wars and make that an X-Men storyline. I think they want to have a mutant story, one mutant movie per year, and I have a Scarlet Witch movie, and have that deal with Magneto and Quicksilver and Polaris or Polaris. I don't know her sister or whatever, Magneto's other daughter. That would be really cool to interact with those characters, and that be a threat for the X-Men. That would be really cool. And obviously, again, mutants, Deadpool. Have another Deadpool movie. I don't think you need to. Again, they said they're not going to rush a Deadpool 4. Deadpool 4, that's crazy. They're not going to rush a Deadpool 4. But it'd be cool to see like Deadpool interact with like the Avengers, or Deadpool interact with the Thunderbolts. Maybe not the Thunderbolts. Deadpool interact with like the young Avengers, or the Avengers, or the young version of the X-Men now. I think that'd be a really fun story. Or just have it be Deadpool and Wolverine too. I wouldn't mind that either. But yeah, I think that's kind of all my thoughts. I'm excited. If you haven't seen Eyes of Wakanda, that was actually a really fun animated project. It was 4 episodes, 30 minutes each. So don't complain about it being too long. It's literally like a movie. And the overarching story of it is really good. I think there's certain episodes that I'm like, whatever. But the overarching story is cool. And the fact that it's like, it takes place in the MCU, not another universe. This is 616 Earth 1199999, whatever the universe that the MCU is currently in. That it takes place in this universe, and it actually links to the first Black Panther, which is really cool. But yeah, if you have not seen that, go watch that. Go see Fantastic Four while it's still in theaters. Boost up those ratings, hopefully. Probably not, but it deserves the money. It really does. It's a really fun project, and I hope with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four doing well, people are getting back into Marvel, and we're gonna be okay. Because I don't want to be like, we're back, but I want to say, you guys are back. The people who have not tuned into the MCU as much or at all in the past few years, I'm going to be making projects on my other channel, Geeko. I've been doing movie reviews on Superman 2, and talking about Doomsday, what you guys need to know. I compiled the whole storyline on that. I'm going to be talking about Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day for a long time, so go check that out over on Geeko. If you want to watch my video game stuff, go check out Echoes. That's a great channel I've had for almost 7 years now, which is crazy. But yeah, that's all we have for the stream for tonight. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so we can have more live streams in the future. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a great night. Have a great week. In a few weeks, again, last week we talked about the Phillies and the Eagles, whatever. We're going to be talking about all my preseason thoughts, my week 1 predictions for the Eagles and the rest of the NFL, and just how excited I am for the season. And we're probably going to be talking about fantasy football too. So stay tuned for a live stream on that. I think that's all we have. Again, we'll probably play video games on this channel too. We're probably going to have me play FNAF 2. So that'll be sick. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed and have a fantastic day. So you get to see the bloopers on the stream. Make sure you have a fantastic day. And if you kind of have a fantastic day today, have a fantastic day tomorrow. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya!